What is overseas student course registration? Students are required to provide proof of authorization to study in Canada, for example, a study permit, before registering for courses. As the course registration period begins several months before the start of the term, newly admitted overseas international students typically miss out on the regular course registration period and need some extra help to obtain registration. For this reason, we reserve a number of seats in every term specifically for new overseas international students. For all qualifying students, this process is facilitated by the registration unit of the Office of the Registrar, who can assist you with submitting the correct registration form and required documents. Upon receipt of your documents, the Office of the Registrar will register courses on your behalf. We will consider which program you are enrolled in and ensure that all courses selected meet the requirements of your program. Once you receive your study permit approval letter from the Government of Canada, contact the registration unit to request an overseas student course registration form. A team member will send you the form by email, along with information about medical insurance. If you are a new overseas international student and you will be arriving to begin your studies within Canada, our office will need to know the date that you intend to arrive in British Columbia. You will need to arrive before the first day of class for the term. Our office recommends arriving before new student orientation. This date will be printed on the overseas course registration form. To verify your arrival date, you will need to supply the registration unit with a copy of your flight itinerary or flight ticket with your study permit approval letter by the date stated on the form. Let us take a closer look at this form. The Overseas Student Course Registration Form, Student Information. At the top of the form, you will input your personal information, including your legal name, student ID, date of birth, and personal email address. You will also need to include the date of your flight itinerary. Please make sure this date is the same as the arrival date listed on your ticket. Procedure. To successfully apply for overseas student course registration, you must follow each of the steps listed under this section before the deadline specified on the form. Step 1. Ensure that sufficient funds are deposited into your student account. Step 2. Submit the completed overseas course registration form, along with your study permit approval letter and medical insurance, to the registration unit via email. Note the expected registration date specified on the overseas course registration form. This date is the earliest date by which you can expect to see your registered courses show in your MyAC student portal. Declaration. Finally, you must carefully review and ensure you understand all of the conditions for overseas student course registration before signing your name and putting the date. Office use only. This section is for use only by an authorized officer of the Registrar's office. It is important that you do not fill any information in this section. Once your forms are processed, you will receive a confirmation email called Notice of Course Registration, which will confirm that your courses have been registered for your intake term. Once you have received this email, you can download your confirmation of enrollment document if required. Upon your arrival in Canada, you will need to provide our office with a copy of your study permit and your medical insurance documents. All residents of British Columbia, including international students, are required to obtain valid medical insurance upon arrival in the country. For assistance in this next step, please speak to a team member of the registration unit or view our tutorial videos on applying for medical insurance. If you have any questions about applying for overseas student course registration, please contact the Office of the Registrar at registration@alexandercollege.ca. Thank you for choosing Alexander College.